Hello, AP Environmental Science. Paulus here. Purpose of this video is to give students an opportunity who were absent to get the Chapter 13 notes copied down, or it's possible I was going too fast. In any event, I will be going faster than I would normally in class. Don't forget to number your Cornell notes, and please put them in question on the left, answer on the right format. All right, here we go. So Chapter 13 is on fresh water. Oh, shoot. My notes are not formatted correctly. So let's pick two of these. So some people die because they get diseases from bad water. Some people die from dehydration. Fresh water is obviously important for growing crops and for allowing people to bathe and cook food. Fresh water in the future certainly will lead to conflict, and it's also an environmental issue. Too much is currently used. All right, one of the most important forms of natural capital. California water is extremely important to us, not only for industry, but also agriculture. Some might even argue it's more valuable than gold, although you can't sell an ounce of water for $1,600. We're not very good at using water. You waste it when there are subsidies. Very little fresh water left on the planet. Unfortunately, most of it is tied up in frozen. It's frozen. And of course, the majority of the water on the planet is salt water. And unfortunately, water is not found in many cases where we need it. Moving ahead in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So some vocabulary. Zone of saturation, we're going to abbreviate. The water table is the top of the zone of saturation. An aquifer basically means a groundwater resource. We're going to abbreviate aquifer. Zone of saturation and precipitation. Precipitation, for the most part, we're talking about rain or snow, but it's basically defined as water coming from the sky. Surface water is runoff. It's water moving along the surface of the earth. And a watershed is all land that surface water drains into. Moving ahead in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Please use this as an opportunity to practice with your notes. There's 2 things you learned about water's global issues. Take a look back at number 1. Yeah, so lots of people die because they don't have access to it, or the water they do have access to is polluted. It's related to economics. It is a global security issue, and it's also an environmental issue. 2 things you learned about fresh water. Take a look back at number 2. Low cost and subsidies lead to waste. One of the most important forms of natural capital. Unfortunately, it's not found in equal proportions on the planet. Hydrologic cycle is really important and related to water. All right. All right, reliable runoff. 2/3 is lost. 2/3 of the water is lost to floods. CC, carrying capacity. Pardon me, what does CC mean? I'm not sure what CC means. Carrying capacity isn't related to... I'm not sure what that means. 1/3 of the water is left to use. We need it for irrigation, industry, cities, and homes. Wars have started because of too little fresh water. If you can't grow food, you can't feed your people. It's very possible that you'll go to war. Sorry about that. Moving ahead in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So, stressed river systems: Nile, Jordan, Yangtze, Ganges, India, China, Egypt, Syria. So 30 out of 200 face freshwater problems. The next 30 years, probably double, which would be almost 1/3 of all countries will suffer. Oh, pardon me, CC, climate change. Moving ahead in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So groundwater does get replaced by precipitation. Unfortunately, many regions are experiencing drought, and precipitation is not fully recharging the groundwater. So an aquifer is defined as a renewable freshwater resource unless it gets polluted or unless salt gets into it. Farmers drill into aquifers. Overuse equals the water table falling. It also leads to land subsidence. Saudi Arabia is in trouble. I picked 2 of these at disadvantages. Pardon me. 2 of each. Moving ahead in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Actually, hold on a second. There's something wrong with this picture. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. It was hiding some of the notes. Moving ahead in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, what are the runoff percentages used for irrigation, crops, industrial, cities, and homes? Take a look back at number... Pardon me. Beg your pardon. Back at number 4. Crops and livestock is 70, industry is 20, and cities and homes is 10. How many countries are expected to have shortages of fresh water by 2050? You might want to take a look back at number 7. Yeah, 60 out of 197. That's not a good thing. It's one advantage and disadvantage of using aquifers. Take a look back at number 10. All right, moving ahead in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, so the Ogallala Aquifer is if I'm not mistaken, it is the largest aquifer in North America. Actually, the Western Hemisphere, if I'm not mistaken. Supplies a lot of the water for the grain belt in the middle of the United States. It's recharged very slowly. We don't have as much precipitation as we used to in those regions. Water is pumped out of it 10 to 40 times faster than it is being recharged, and it threatens biodiversity. Problems with overpumping. You can see the land is sinking. So obviously, if you have not enough water, it's going to limit your food. It's going to make food more expensive. Land sinks. San Joaquin Valley, which is the valley right next to the Sacramento Valley, looks like it sank approximately 6, 7, 8 feet in the past 30 years. And also saltwater intrusion if you have a groundwater resource near the coast. Moving ahead in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, so how do we increase fresh water? You control it with dams and reservoirs, but also if you create a dam or reservoir, it's going to cover land that was once inhabited by creatures and plants with water. Also might displace people. Benefits of dams. So that would be the left side of this image. So water for drinking, recreation, cheap electricity if we were talking about hydropower, protects from downstream flooding, provides irrigation water above and below the dam. There are some negatives, of course. What are 2 characteristics of the Ogallala aquifer? Overuse. Take a look at number 11. It's being recharged very slowly, which means we're using more than actually is going back in. And also it threatens biodiversity. If we continue to develop land for water resources, because the Ogallala is not as, it doesn't provide as much as it used to. 2 general problems associated with overpumping. Take a look at number 12. It makes food more expensive. You got land subsidence, and also you have salinization. 2 benefits of dams. Take a look at number 14. I'm moving ahead in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Negatives of dams. So, flowing rivers provide ecological services, ecosystem services. Those would be decreased. They endanger plants and animals, of course, because water is covering habitat that used to be provided. You can fill them up with sediment, which means that the dam really can only be used for about 50 years. Depends on the river, of course. And when water levels drop, dams do not work. All right, so remember, an estuary is where the ocean meets a freshwater river. They're some of the most diverse ecosystems in aquatics. Very small amounts of the Colorado River freshwater actually gets to the Gulf of California. It threatens the estuary and river species because remember, these are species that are adapted to both freshwater and salt water. And obviously, if you're not getting a whole lot of fresh water, it's going to make it difficult for them to survive. And overuse. Mostly irrigation is being overused in the Colorado River, some of the driest areas in the United States. Solutions. Big one is eliminate subsidies for farmers. If we're making it cheaper for them to take water out of the Colorado River, if you eliminate those subsidies, they will get more efficient. Need to get better conservation, get rid of subsidies by the government, grow different crops, charge more for fresh water, and release more water from reservoirs. Moving ahead in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. I had local, Lake Orville. So back 4 years ago, we actually had a breach of Lake Orville. There was a lot of flooding. So heavy rains damaged the spillway. 180,000 people had to be evacuated within 1 hour. The spillway failed. Moving ahead in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, so facts about desalination, or desalinization, sometimes called. So distillation means boiling the water vapor off of the salt. And also you can use reverse osmosis. We have 17,000 plants in 150 countries, mostly in countries that are arid. It's really expensive, lots of energy, and unfortunately, we're using a lot of fossil fuels to create this energy. And lots of salty wastewater. Moving ahead in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What are 2 negatives associated with dams? Take a look back at number 15. A reduction of ecological services by rivers. Plants and animals get endangered. Dams don't last very long. And dams won't work in drought conditions. What specific type of environment is particularly vulnerable? Areas where fresh water meets ocean water, estuaries. What are 2 problems associated with desalinization process? Take a look at number 19. 20. It's expensive, lots of energy, and salty wastewater. All right, let's finish these up. So, water footprint. Try to take shorter showers. There are ways to save water with your toilet by putting jars or bottles in your basin behind. Just conserve. Don't water your lawns as often. But all of these things, 80 to 100 gallons per day per person. Virtual water is defined as the water used indirectly to produce products and food. So if you are eating, you are, drinking, making coffee, wearing clothes. All of these things use more water. So 40 gallons to produce all of this. Oh, beg your pardon. 1/10 of a tub for coffee, 4 tubs for a loaf of bread, 12 tubs for a burger, 17 tubs for a t-shirt. These are a lot of large water uses. Moving ahead in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, so pick 3 properties of water. Water stores a lot of heat. It takes a lot of heat to actually change its phase. It's a great solvent. Dissolves a lot of things. It filters out ultraviolet light, which makes it safer for organisms in water bodies to survive. I'm moving ahead in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, what's the difference between the water you use normally and virtual water? Take a look at number 21 and 22. Yeah, so the water you use normally is, drinking water, cooking water, the water used to wash clothes. Virtual water is the water necessary for all the products that you use. 2 unique properties of water. Take a look at number 23. Yeah, it's a good solvent, filters UV, stores a lot of heat before it changes phase. All right, so I've got some math problems for you. Again, if you are taking the AP test in May, you're going to need to work out problems like these. So please pause the video, give yourself a chance to try to work out these problems. All right, so this is all given information. And here's your first question. Again, pause the video, see if you can work it out. Solutions coming in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Next question. Solution is coming in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Next question. And the solution is coming in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Next question. Solutions coming in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Next question. Solutions coming in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Last question. And the solutions coming in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for the Chapter 13 notes. We will see you in class.